The Black Steel Twinblades is one of the best new weapons in the Elden Ring DLC and is top 3 best Twinblades along with the Gargoyle Twinblades and the Euphoria in terms of damage and of course looks. Now, normally with Twinblades, you dual wield them and utilize their jump attacks, which hits the enemy 6 times. But after testing out some stuff, I found that the charged heavy attacks also hit multiple times. But like most charged heavy attacks, it's slow, especially the full combo. You will most likely get hit as you're flailing around with this black steel. But there is a way to not only negate the damage, but also increase poise so you can finish the attack chain. Probably one of the most underrated Ashes of War in Elden Ring, Endure, which does both of those things beautifully. And the last thing that makes this weapon so goddamn good is that it can be infused, so we can imbue it with some kind of element. In this case, lightning, which is, by the way, one of the best damage types in the game because there are very few things that have high resistance to lightning. So, with all of these pieces of information, we are able to craft an incredibly strong build at around level 150-ish. As I was playing through the DLC to record some gameplay for this video, I felt like I was speedrunning because all of the bosses were just dying so quickly. So, needless to say, I am very excited to share with all of you this awesome build. And without further ado, let's get into the guide. Alright, here is the build. Screenshot, pause the video, exit the video. This is all you guys wanted to see anyway, right? I know how it works. I know how it is. I was watching these videos too before I started making videos. Oh, I get it. Anyway, there it is. Here's the build. All right, before I explain all of the stuff, if you don't know where to find this item or anything that I mentioned right now, including the spells and everything, just Google it, man. Just Google the location, type in the item, type in Elden Ring, type in location. You can find it immediately. I use the Elden Ring wiki website. It's very good. And if you can't find it there, go to YouTube. You could, there's a bunch of videos explaining where everything is. All right. So again, if you don't know where to find anything, just Google that, bitch. All right. All right. Anyway, here's the weapon we use. This is our main weapon. This can be obtained in the DLC. I love how it looks, by the way. Just straight up, just matte black steel. Look at this thing. And there's the heavy attack. Awa, awa, awa. See, it hits a bunch of times. But yeah, we use it. Plus 25. I went ahead with the heavy affinity. Okay, because obviously we are scaling our strength, but we're also scaling our faith, which does buff the incantation that we'll be imbuing our weapon with, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And of course, it has the Ash of War Endure, so it's very easy. All right, boom, and it lasts like a couple seconds, which is long enough for the boss's next attack combo. So the gameplay is very easy. You endure, charge heavy, awa, awa, awa. Do it again, and you just do it until they die, and hopefully they die before you do. Okay, which they have for me, so it should work. If it works for me, it works for you. All right, so boom, that's the weapon. That's the affinity. That's the Ash of War. Crazy good combo. All right. Now, for our seal, this actually matters. Normally, I just use the finger seal, which can also work, by the way, because it has a S tier and faith scaling. But I thought, because the seal actually matters here, let's go ahead and use the Erdtree seal. Basically, whatever the only thing that matters about the seal you use for this build is to make sure it has an S scaling in faith when fully upgraded. Okay, and the Erdtree seal uses the least. These kind of special weapons only use somber stones, so it was cheap for me to plus 10 it. That's why I chose the Erdtree seal. But use any seal you want as long as it has an S tier in faith scaling. All right, and what that matters because one of our spells that we use does scale through your incantation scaling, which is through your seal. All right, I want to make sure I explain that. If you didn't understand, rewind it. Okay, so boom, there you go. So these are our main weapons: the Black Steel Twinblade and the Erdtree seal, or any seal that has an S tier in faith scaling when fully upgraded. All right, boom. Armor set, very easy. Now, I know people are probably tired of the armor set. Listen, if you want to go for fashion, go for fashion. But wearing all of these pieces is a 8% increase in damage. That matters. That matters for every single attack that you're doing. And because this is a multiple attack build, it matters even more. So, you know, I want the percentages where I can. So I'm boring. I use the Rakshasas. I like doing damage, whatever, man. All right, but if you want to go for fashion, go for fashion. Go whatever you want. One of my favorite fashionable pieces is I think it's the Black Knife set. Oh, that set is pretty dippy. That set is pretty swag. But you know, when I'm trying to kill these bosses, I'm trying to deal damage. But it's up to you. All right. And if you're going for damage, the Rakshasa set is where to go. And this set also gives you above 51 poise, which is very important. So you don't get mini stunned, you know, after the enemy does some light attacks. All right. So boom, the weapons, the armor, talismans. Very simple talismans. Okay, we're using charged heavy attacks, so we're gonna use the classic, the good old axe talisman, which I think I've used this talisman maybe the most in all my builds, just because I'm a big fan of charged heavy attacks. I like seeing big numbers. I like seeing the bosses stagger. So the axe talisman definitely belongs to this build. Okay, next talisman. One of the new talismans in the DLC, also one of my favorites, the two-handed sword talisman. Yes, this does work with twin blades. Okay, make sure you two-hand it though. You gotta two-hand it. All right, it can't be like this. If you walk around like this, it's not gonna work. You gotta do this. Which on the controller is Y and R trigger. I don't know what it is on computer. I'm sorry, but I know on controller it's Y and R trigger. All right, there you go. There you go. What am I doing? Okay, so boom. Next two talismans, of course, if you're playing a multi-attack build, you're probably using the Rotten Winding Sword Insignia and the Millicent's Prosthesis. Now, unfortunately, these, you got a New Game Plus to get both of these. If you don't want to get, if you have to choose either one, normally the Rotten Winged Sword would be the better choice, but actually for this build you want to use the Millicents because that +5 dex means you don't have to get +5 dex from your leveling. So I would actually choose this, and instead of the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, you can use the the Lightning Scorpion Charm to increase your lightning damage. All right, which would actually increase it quite a bit, you know, but of course you would take more damage and it would be harder to spam, endure, and charged heavy into the bosses. All right, so if it was up to me and you didn't want a New Game Plus, take out the Rotten Winged and put in the Lightning Scorpion Charm. All right, up to you though. And that's it for the talismans and the weapon and the armor. Let's go to the physic. Where's the fucking grace? All right, let's go ahead and move on to our physic. Okay, inside our physic is the spiked crack tier because we use charged heavies, but also the thorny crack tier because we do consecutive attacks. Now for me, I've never combined these two. I've never had a charged heavy attack build that hits multiple times. This is a first for me. I'm very excited about it. And of course, these two tiers can do a lot of damage. You can also use the lightning crack tier if you wanted to, but for me, these boost damage more than that. And also physical damage is just a better option in most cases because, you know, bosses with their elemental resistance and whatnot. But if you want to use the lightning and buff the lightning more, that's up to you too, okay? So boom, spike crack tier, thorny crack tier, that's the physic. For the spells, these are our spells, and you want to use them in this order because of how long they last, okay? Golden Vow. We're using it as a normal incantation because we have high enough faith to do that. Okay, and of course, everyone knows what Golden Vow does. It increases your damage and it increases your damage negation. It is probably the best Ash of War in the game. It is the most used Ash of War in the game. And if you're not using this for your build, I don't know what you're doing with your life. All right, so boom, Golden Vow. Now this is the one that we're using to imbue our weapon. Another option, which some of you are probably wondering, is the Blood Flame Blade option. Okay, now I put that into the sim, okay, and it doesn't give as much damage as the Electrify Armament does. And also the Blood Flame Blade incantation works better with weapons with innate bleed buildup, so it can max it out with the Blood Flame Blade. All right, these twin blades do not have bleed buildup. Okay, I might make another build guide with a twin blade that does. Is there a twin blade that provides bleed buildup? I can't remember right now. But if there is, then you would definitely use Blood Flame, which also gets buffed by Flame Grant Me Strength, by the way. But because these don't, we're going to use this. The Electrify Armament scales your faith the most when it comes to raw damage. All right, so that's why I chose this one. But if you want to go Blood Flame Blade because you like, you know, red and black more than yellow, then by all means go ahead. It's all you. But for most damage possible, Electrify Armament. It scales with your incantation scaling, which is why we have to use a seal that matters. All right, so boom. And then of course the next spell that we use is Flame Grant Me Strength. We're using it to boost our physical power by 20%. You know the deal. Pretty simple there. All right. So those are our spells: Golden Vow, Armament, Grant Me Strength. All right. And now let's go to this. Do we move on to the stats? Oh, let's go to the Great Rune. So again, if you watch my videos, I like to use Radahn's Great Rune. This one's really up to you. Everyone knows that the best Great Rune is the Godric's Great Rune, though, because it gives you, what, 30 free levels, plus 5 in every single stat. This is the best Great Rune, okay? But it's also a very dependable Great Rune, all right? A lot of people, you know, depend on this with their builds, but then if you die, your Great Rune, you know, you gotta use another Rune Arc, which are in short supply. I think you get like 20-ish through in a normal gameplay without playing online. So for me, I don't like depending on my Great Runes. That's why I use the Radahn's Great Rune, because it is a luxury. It's nice to have a bit more HP, more FP, and more stamina. It's just nice to have it, but I'm not dependent on it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the main thing for me. All right, so for me, the Radahn's Great Rune, that's my go-to. All right, and of course the Ashes of War, like I said, Endure. Let's go ahead and show. So this is how you're going to the fight. Let's say I was just entering. Oh my God, Radahn's over there. I'm ready to fight him. He's going down. Golden Vow. Okay, I lied. That's not what you do. Whoops, I already fucked up. It's because the camera's on. God damn it. Okay, so Physic. Ooh, Golden Vow. Wow. Also, you have to one-hand the weapon to cast these spells. Electrify Armament. Ooh, thanks Zeus. Flame Grant Me Strength. Oh my goodness. And then drink a mana pot so you can cast Endure during the fight. Two-hand the weapon. Walk up to the boss. Endure. Charged Heavy. Endure. Charged Heavy. Endure. Charged Heavy. You do that about 5 times, they're probably going to die. They're probably dead at that point. I'm not even kidding. I'm not exaggerating. They're probably dead by 3 to 5 charged heavies and endures. And then that's it. This is actually super simple to play. That's why I felt like I was speedrunning, because they were just dying and I wasn't really dodging any attacks. You know, you can kind of just brainlessly endure, charged heavy, and then that's it. Is kind of, yeah, it's a little lame if you think about it, but hey man, I like seeing bosses die quickly and I like seeing big numbers, so boom. And this is also a non-bleed build. Any non-bleed build that can delete bosses it is very fun, because we all know bleed in this game is king, but it also gets very boring using White Mask, using the Lord of Blood's Exaltation all the time. I don't know about y'all, it gets pretty boring, so I like to find builds that don't have to depend on bleed, and this is definitely one of them. This is definitely one of them. All right, so boom. Let's move on to the stats next, shall we? Sure. All right, so yeah, as you can see here, we are level 166, very doable. Okay, it's near level 150. You can get here if by the time you're in the Elden Ring DLC, you are between levels 150 to 200 in a normal gameplay. So getting to 166 shouldn't be a problem. Okay. So now we're gonna see some differences here that I normally do in my builds. So 40 vigor. Normally I like 60 vigor, but that would be a little too high level. So I sacrificed some HP for some damage, basically. And I think we're able to do that because we're using Endure, which, by the way, it negates 50% damage for 3 seconds. That's huge. All right, so because we're using Endure, we can actually have a little bit less HP and put that into damage. All right, but hey, if you're a little higher level, definitely put the rest of the points into Vigor until it reaches 60. So I guess the most optimal level for this build would be like 186, but that's too high level. I know how the Souls community works. We got to get as close to level 150 as possible, and this is the way that I was able to do it. All right, so 40 Vigor, good enough HP to beat the game with. I did it very easily with 40 vigor. Boom. Mind, 15 mind. Y'all know how I feel. I like having a comfortable amount of mana to cast all my spells without having to drink a mana flask in between, because that's kind of a pain in the ass. So 15 mind is my go-to for most, if not all builds. I just like to have it. All right, so boom. Endurance, again, 30 endurance is also a comfy spot for me, so I have enough, you know, stamina to dodge roll and then do my attacks, but also to make sure I'm at medium load, because the Rakshasa set is a medium set. It's not like a light set to wear, so you got to make sure you have that medium load for that medium jump roll at least. You know what I'm saying? So boom, 30 endurance. Next is 50 strength. So one thing I actually found out, for some reason I didn't know until now, was if you two-hand your weapon, they grant you 1.5 strength. So here it says I have 50 strength, but while I'm dual wielding my weapon like this, I have 75 strength. You just can't see it. It's like a hidden number. And by the way, 80 strength is the highest soft cap for you know, physical damage. So we're basically at 80 strength right now, is what I'm trying to say, while having 50 strength, because we are dual wielding our weapon. All right, it's very important information. All right, so boom, make sure you remember that. So the only reason why we have a little dex is because of the Millicent's prosthesis, and this weapon does require a little bit of a dex to wear. It actually does require exactly 15. So again, this is why I like using the Millicent's, because it gives us enough dex without having to spend any runes on the leveling. So boom, 15 dex just to wear the weapon, and next, I guess you can say our most important stat is faith. And the reason why we have faith so high is it doesn't actually scale any weapon damage at all. But it does scale the electrify armament. The electrify armament scales off of your incantation scaling, and your incantation scaling scales off of the seal that you're using. Okay, so again, you got to make sure you're using a seal with high faith scaling, preferably S faith scaling. There are a bunch of them that do this. I just chose the Erdtree seal because it required very little to plus 10 it. Okay, but you can see here there is a line that says incantation scaling. All right, that scales off of your faith. That will scale the electrify armament spell, this one, and it'll add on a lot of damage per attack. I think it's around like 250 per fucking attack. So you see this number here, you see under attack power the physical damage, there you go. Actually it says plus 265. That's a lot of fucking lightning damage. Okay, that is per attack lightning damage. 265, huge. All right, so there you go, boom. And yeah, that's the build. Okay, level 166. Here are the stats again. Take another screenshot. I'll pull up the build again. Take another screenshot. I know that's what you guys are here for. It's okay. Don't be afraid to admit it. Just be, you know what I'm saying? And there you go. That's the build. Very easy. How to play it again. You know, activate your physic. Do the golden vows. Activate electrify armament. Flame grant me strength. Mana pot. Two-hand the weapon. Endure, charged heavy. Endure, charged heavy. Endure, charged heavy. And they're, honest to God, that three in a row right there would probably kill most bosses. I'm not even joking. It's that strong. And because it's a charged heavy, if it didn't kill them, it'll probably stagger them, which will allow for another one of these and a fucking repost attack. So yeah, man, there you go. Super strong build, super strong guide. All right. Again, I was able to delete pretty much all the bosses in less than... No, actually, I think I killed all the bosses in less than like 3 tries, including Radon, just because I was dealing so much damage. You know, when I'm recording these things, I got like some music in the background, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I died to some bosses here and there. You know what, actually the most annoying boss for me? Let me know if you guys agree with this. The most annoying boss for me in the Elden Ring DLC when I'm trying to do these build guides is Romina. I don't know about you guys, I hate that bitch. She takes me more tries than Radon. Okay, I don't know why. That's just the way it is. Let me know if you guys have also felt the wrath of Romina like me. I hate her. Whenever I do these build guides, when I get to her, it feels like a chore. All right, but all the other bosses are fun. All right. So yeah, that's it. Hey, if you guys enjoyed the build guide, if it helped you at all, if you plan to use this build, or if for some reason you like my weird voice, subscribe to the channel. Yeah? Like the video, comment down below, share the video with your friends who are also playing some Elden Rings. All right. This game is awesome. Deserved Game of the Year 2022. It's probably gonna get DLC of the year 2024. That's a category in the gaming awards, right? I think it is. But yeah, this game it's crazy good. It's crazy good. All right, and I still have a lot more build guides I want to do. Okay, and I also want to do a New Game Plus 7 run. Basically, the plan for me is I'm going to do a bunch of these build guides. I'm going to pick one of those builds to do a New Game Plus 7 run. Probably the most fun build is the one that I would choose. There are a couple that in my mind that I know will be super fun to play. Kind of like this one, to be honest. But I haven't chosen yet, so look out for that. New Game Plus 7 run, all bosses, including the normal game. But also, I want to do a Rune level 1 run. Okay, I think I already have a build idea for that in mind, but I'm gonna keep that a secret for now. I want to do a Rune level 1 run. You know what I'm saying, to finish the game with. But yeah, man, that's it. That's it. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. And if you want to watch some live gameplay, I do play live sometimes, whether it be Elden Ring or some other games. Catch me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Kodakobe, and I also plan to stream on this YouTube channel as well on some multi-stream shit, because why the fuck not? And that'll be right here. So yeah, man, thanks for watching, y'all. I appreciate it, and I'll see y'all on the next Elden Ring video. Okay, bye.